Alright, this is a video review of the Opt7 HID lighting kit. Installed it in some aftermarket Baja designs. Anyways, so the wiring kit that came with it had to be spliced for the truck power and whatnot appropriately. Anyways, looking at some of the ballast stuff, you know, they're pretty small ballast, but then again, you got this igniter that's equally or way thicker than it that you got to deal with. So you got to have your truck power coming into this capacitor and resistor, and then into your ballast, and then over to the igniter, and then to the light. So what I've noticed between these three, having them on equally the same amount of time, my ballast 1 and 3 are pretty cool to the touch, but man, ballast 2 is like scalding hot. And another thing that I've already noticed with it is that the turn off and on rate is not very fast. So having these in the fog lights like this, you know, my intentions were, you know, or you can't run these unless you're out on the open highway, and then you're going to be flipping them on and off for oncoming traffic. And you'll see here in a second, this time they all three fired. And again, I wish I had a temperature gun to see the difference between this ballast and this ballast. Oh, it's very hot. I've got a spare since I've only used 3 out of the kit, so I might switch it to see if the other ballasts that I have might not get so hot, because I mean, these are, again, like barely over body temp, and this son of a gun, you can barely touch it. But let's do the deal. I'll cycle them and we'll see how many we get. So as you can see, 3 spots on the wall. Turn them off. Wait for us to pass a vehicle. Turn them on. Bam. So now we only got 2 lights. So it's like the igniter or something, there's like a thermocouple, but that's not even the one that was hot. So the one in the middle is a really hot one. Let's try and cycle them again, see what happens. Turn them off for a little bit. Okay, all 3 came on that time. Let them warm for a sec. They're probably already hot, but whatever. Acting like this is out on the road, so you'd be driving for a little bit and say another vehicle comes up. Alright, shut them off. Wait for you 2 to pass. Bam, only got 2 again. A little bit of a flicker in that middle beam. Don't know if you see that, but then it settles out. So it's like it goes through a cycle or something with the electronics, but then it's fine. So turn them off again. Back on. Still only 2. Off again. Back on. 2. Off again. So I don't know if I've got like a weak igniter or ballast on that 3rd one, but just not. The 1 and 2 will fire pretty good. Alright, now here's the other deal. So that 3rd light never came on. It was not the ballast that was hot. It's this one. I've checked every connection. Now we'll just give it a little bit. Let's give it you know, another minute or so. And then it seems like there might be a thermal protection of some sort, maybe in this resistor and capacitor, supposedly. I mean, if this is a capacitor, it's a tiny little guy, but they've got them bundled together side by side. And so we'll see if that was enough time off. Yep. So now the third light came back on. So it seems to be a time-dependent thing. But again, that's not the one that's even hot, so I'm not sure what to think about that. As I was trying to bundle up this one, my first one, I was going to just kind of like consolidate some of these wires, and if I jiggle it around, it did cut out earlier on me, and so I was like, oh crap. But I don't know, man. To me, I think you get what you pay for. This kit was only $50. I mean, I would say that the color, this is the 55 or 5K, I forget what they sold. So right here you can see it's the H1 5K. So Opt7, you know, I guess you get what you pay for it. But I mean, again, I don't know if this is just completely washing everything out, but these ballasts, yeah, they're slim, but you got a whole lot of connectors, and you got this igniter that's huge too. So you know, mounting it, I'm going to have it behind and inside the bumper, so it's no big deal for me. But you know, maybe if you were doing a headlight job, you might be tight on room. Anyways, just getting them in. Haven't even driven down the road with them, but again, you can see the color is okay. I just wish the on and off rate was a little quicker. If that is a thermal protection, maybe it'll get better as I drive down the road, who knows. But you've seen how long we've had this on. I can still grab and hold the first one. Second one, I would say, is the exact same temperature as the first. But this middle one, holy shit, I can barely hold it. It is hot. So anyways, see how it goes. Alright, so I'm updating my review already. This is over the Opt7 HID kit, 55 watt, H1 5K. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyways, it's that's the box. Trying not to wash everything out. So as I'm trying to tidy up the wires, every time that I wiggle just a little bit on this capacitor and resistor, I guess it's their anti-flickering deal, anyways, or whatever it is. Every time I wiggle the wire somewhere in here, this first light goes out now. So it was 1 and 2 that were firing consistent, with 3 being the odd one that would come on and off, and only if, you know, with a sufficient amount of time off, then it would come back on. So now only the middle one's firing up. So let's see if I can recreate this. Okay, so one's failing to come on right now. I'm only going to wiggle it. Oh, look at that. I just barely touched the wire right here and it came on. So something right here is kind of faulty. So it's these cheap connectors or whatever. Like I said, you get what you kind of pay for. But let's see, I'm only gonna touch it, and I just touched it, and one's off again. It's aggravating because I'm trying to tidy it up and go get dinner, and this fucker is not. Oh, sorry, this thing's not working. So not sure what's up. Anyways, so buyer beware. So since I got a kit of 4, I've got an extra capacitor and resistor here. I'm going to try and install it, see if number 1 fires up. So it wants to come on and off anytime I mess with this connector. Filled each one of these lines with a little bit of dielectric to protect from some water invasion because it's up here in the front bumper. So always a good thing so you don't have any water issues. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, so that one fires up. So, yeah, just been crummy wiring job on this guy. So, that's one problem solved-ish. We'll see if I can get this loomed up and zip tied away behind the bumper without it shutting off. Okay, so maybe success. Got the thing all wired up and stowed away in the bumper, but holy crap, it's a lot. There is quite a bit of things to stuff away in here. So just have it all laying up in the bumper with a couple of the holes that were already there, zip tied it all as tight as I could. Tidy. Still got 3 lights on, so that's enough for tonight. But so yes, I did have a faulty little capacitor and resistor module. So I'm gonna have to get in touch with those guys and get something else sent out so I have a backup. But anyways, it went together. We'll see how it does. I'll update a review again. But I don't know how the GoPro's white balancing looks, but I wanted white, and so I went with 5K, and I would say they're pretty white. Just a tinge on the cool side, but not much. I think the 5K is gonna do fine for me. Satisfied with the color. I wanted white, kind of like. And looking visually at it, it kind of looks like the same color that comes on the new stock F-150s with the HIDs, so go with that recommendation if you want, as far as color goes anyways. Alright guys, thanks.